My mom kept joking about my painful childhood and calling me her practice kid, so I revealed her true colors and ruined her marriage with my stepdad. My parents had me when they were 19. Total accident. My entire childhood was pure chaos, screaming matches that lasted until 3 a.m., eviction notices taped to our door, wearing shoes with holes in them until my toes poked through. I remember counting coins I found under couch cushions, thinking maybe if I gave them enough money they'd stop yelling at each other. Then when I was 8, Mom met Rick at her new job. He was stable, kind, had a real career. Within a year, they were married, and suddenly my life transformed. New house in a good neighborhood, family vacations to actual beaches, and then my baby sister Melody arrived. I'm not going to lie, watching Melody grow up with everything I never had was hard. Brand new clothes, her own bedroom decorated like a princess castle, dance lessons, art classes. But I convinced myself I wasn't bitter. Mom was young and broke when she had me. She's older and wiser now. It's not Melody's fault she won the parent lottery on the second try. Last week was Melody's 4th birthday party. Mom and Rick went absolutely all out. Bounce house, petting zoo, the works. They invited extended family, Melody's entire daycare class, and all the daycare parents. It was massive. After a few hours, Mom and the other moms gathered on the patio with wine. I was nearby, half watching the kids play, half listening to them gossip. The conversation eventually shifted to parenting stories. That's when Mom decided to tell a group of complete strangers about the time 7-year-old me collected loose change from around our apartment and presented it to her and Dad, begging them to please stop fighting about money. She told it like it was the funniest thing she'd ever witnessed, laughing so hard she had to wipe her eyes. "The things you learn with your practice kid, am I right?" she said, nudging one of the moms. "Rick and I never fight about money in front of Melody. That's why she's so much easier than my oldest." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. That memory still makes me cry sometimes, but I didn't say anything. I told myself she was just drunk and didn't mean it. Then the conversation turned to kindergarten since several kids were starting in the fall. Mom saw her opening for another hilarious story. She told everyone about the time she had to argue with my elementary school to let me do gym class in my winter boots, because that was literally the only pair of shoes I owned. Again, she told the whole thing grinning ear to ear, like it was adorable instead of heartbreaking. Then she finished with, "Thank God Melody can have all the shoes she wants." Though with how much of a pain my oldest was at that age, maybe it was best I didn't waste money on the practice kid. Practice kid. She said it twice now. The other moms looked uncomfortable, giving each other awkward glances, but Mom just kept laughing and refilling her wine. Rick overheard that second comment and pulled her aside, whispering something. She waved him off and stumbled back to her mom's circle. Something inside me just broke. I pulled out my phone and opened my voice memos. Years ago, during one of their massive fights, I'd recorded Mom screaming at Rick that she wished she'd never had me, that I ruined her entire life and she was stuck being a mom at 19 when she should have been having fun. I walked over to the patio and played it, full volume. The entire party went silent. You could hear Mom's voice crystal clear, slurring and venomous, saying I was the biggest mistake she ever made. Rick's face went completely white. "You told me that was just postpartum depression. You said it went away after a few months." Mom tried to grab my phone, but I stepped back. She looked at me with pure rage and hissed, "You had no right. You had no right to humiliate me in front of strangers," I said. Twice. The party ended pretty quickly after that. Families grabbed their kids and left without even saying goodbye. Rick didn't speak to Mom the rest of the night. 3 days later, Rick showed up at my apartment. He apologized for not standing up for me sooner and said he'd been doing some thinking. Turns out Mom had been lying about a lot of things. Money she'd been hiding, messages she'd deleted from his phone, stories she told his family about me to make them dislike me. He served her with separation papers that week. She called me screaming, saying I destroyed her family over a joke, but Rick told me later that recording was just the final straw. He'd been seeing who she really was for a while. Now she's staying at her sister's place and blowing up my phone, begging me to tell Rick it was all a misunderstanding. But I'm done being her practice kid.